Hello, everyone. Good morning and Shabbat Shalom. This week's Torah portion is Chukat Balak. And in this portion, we learn that as the Israelites continue to journey throughout the wilderness, they come to a place called the wilderness of Zin. There, under the darkness of a new moon, Miriam dies and is buried. The Torah does not mention her again. This short, terse verse, not even a full verse, half of a verse, describing her death and burial, is only half the story. It seems actually that perhaps the lack of conversation around Miriam's death might actually be the point. In the words that follow in our Torah portion, we learn that the community is without water. Rashi comments on this, that this following directly after Miriam's death is giving us insight into the fact that Miriam had been the one to find water throughout their many years of walking through the desert, that when she died, so too had their water source. Rabbeinu Bachya draws upon this even further in saying that as soon as Miriam died, the well which had traveled with the Israelites these years ceased providing water. The water with which people had enjoyed all of these years was due to the merit of Miriam. Merit earned this merit by placing her infant brother into a basket at the reeds of the end of the river in order to save his life. Miriam had been given this ability to provide water for the people, to find water for the people that she loved because of the kindness that she had displayed so early in her life. The sadness in the verses of Torah is that the Israelites had not recognized that gift in her during the years that she lived. They hadn't realized what a gift it was to find water in the wilderness. They took it for granted because they hadn't had a chance to really think about it. And so when Miriam died, they were overwhelmed with feelings. They were overwhelmed with this understanding that now they had lost so much. Perhaps tied into their grief was also a sense of guilt for not being able to recognize the goodness in Miriam and show appreciation for her during the days that she lived. What happens in the text is that this isn't discussed outright. Instead, the Israelite people come to Moses and say, "We need water, do something," and they complain bitterly. But here's the thing. It was Moses' sister, Miriam, that had died. And Moses too was distraught, but he also did not speak about his feelings of grief. He didn't speak about what was going on. He grew ever frustrated at an Israelite people that stood before him demanding water, demanding something in that moment. And what could have been a moment of consolation and kindness between the Israelites and Moses hadn't been. But here's the thing. Moses picked up his rod. Sure, he hit the rock a little bit harder than God would have allowed. But what happened? A huge, abiding water came forth from the rock, demonstrating that God was there with them and would always be there with them. And how does the Torah end this passage? By saying that they drank together. It is my hope and prayer that in this moment, the Israelites and Moses came together, not only in feeling some of the relief from having water on a hot day in the sun, but even more, being comforted and having their feelings quenched by the water that demonstrated so much of the love that Miriam had showed them over the years. This short passage in a text that includes so many stories teaches us many lessons. It teaches us the importance of looking at one another and acknowledging one another for all that we bring right now, not waiting to a distant future. And perhaps that honest and direct communication is truly the best way to heal. May we all have a Shabbat filled with sanctity and restoration. I look forward to seeing you soon.